Hey guys, Allie here from Champagne and Coffee Stains, and today I want to share with you one of my favorite tools, the Power Zone Pack website. So if you're new to Peloton, I'm sure you've seen the hashtag Power Zone Pack on the leaderboard, and what that is it's a free community of Power Zone enthusiasts. So Power Zone is a type of ride that you can do on Peloton bikes. I like to call it personal training, basically on the bike. It's something that I've been personally doing for about 2 years now. When I first got my bike, I'm actually more of a runner, and I got my bike when I was injured, and my doctor said that I really need to get more into cross training and doing something a little lower impact. And so when I hopped onto the bike, I really enjoyed the classes, but I found there wasn't really a way for me to measure what I was actually doing to see any improvement. They have the leaderboard, which it's nice to see it. However, I know I'm not going to be at the top of the leaderboard, and that doesn't really motivate me either. I'm just looking for a really good workout, essentially. So my friend introduced me to Power Zone Pack and the Power Zone challenges that they run. And what I love about it is, like I said, personal training on the bike. You do a 20-minute test where basically you maintain an output of whatever is kind of like difficult for you. So the test itself, it can be a little challenging, but it's really good because from that test you take the average output, and then they assign you 7 different zones that you use during your Power Zone training. So right on the Peloton bike, you can customize it, and it'll show during your rides. So an instructor will call out ride in zone 2 or 3 during endurance rides, for example, and you have to hit your custom output goal for that ride. And to get to your output goal, you kind of mix around between your cadence and your resistance to get to a number that gets you to hit your zone goals. So again, I personally love it just because it's customized to you. Your output goals are your output goals. They're always changing depending on how your FTP test goes, which I try to take about every 6 to 2 months-ish time. It depends on what's going on. And I think that Power Zone training is just a really great tool because for now I'm focusing more on my running, using my treadmill a little bit more. But for my cross training days, I love to do the Power Zone endurance rides because I know I'll get a steady workout that's not too hard, but not too easy too. So it's a really great cross training. So the Power Zone Pack, it's free to join, free to participate in all those challenges that I talked about. But they do have a paid membership option that gives you a few extra features. And today I wanted to go over exactly what those few extra features are because I know I had a lot of questions when I was thinking about signing up for it. So let me share my screen here. So this is the Power Zone Pack website. This is when you log in and you have a membership. This is what you'll see. I usually actually use this on my phone. So very similar view to that. So let's see. So right here, I have this synced up with my Peloton account. So if I go into my rides up here, and each time that you pull this up, you do need to sync your ride. So up here, I could sync it. This will pull in every single Power Zone Pack ride or Power Zone ride that I've done. It doesn't pull in any running or any of the Peloton runs that I do or any non-Power Zone rides that I do. This is only going to be for Power Zone rides. So if I click on it, this is how you've probably seen if you do Power Zone rides or have friends that do it. This is how you can generate your graphs as well. And then it kind of gives you a recap of your ride, how long you were in your zones. This training stress score, this is a number that I really love, and I'll show you more about it. But basically, this is how you can measure how difficult this ride was. So they have this for every single ride that you have, and you can hide. If you don't want to see the graph, you can hide it. Or if you want to see what the instructor called, you can add it back in just by clicking this button over here. So my favorite part is this library. This library is actually how I schedule out my workouts each week. This library has every single Power Zone ride that's available on Peloton. So what's really cool about it is that you can click this open filters, and then you can filter this to anything that you're looking for. So if you want to ride mostly in a certain zone, you can filter based on zones or with your instructors. Or if you want to filter based on time or type of class or time. And then my favorite, so if you hide this up here, And once you make your selection, so like let's say, for example, I want to do a 45-minute ride. I can then, all the 45-minute rides will show up. I can then filter based off TSS, so your training stress score. So now the hardest rides, so these rides with the highest TSS will show up first, or I can do it the other way and filter it so the lowest TSS scores. So this is how I actually make my custom training plans each week, is I'll go, and if I know that I'm going to be running some heavier or higher miles that week, I'll know that I want for my cross training to actually be able to do a lower TSS ride, because I really don't want to be burning myself out with these rides. So I try to aim for something that's between like, depending on it, for a lower week, I probably do about like 28 to maybe 40-ish for a TSS. Usually I cap my rides at 30 minutes too, so I can get in some strength work. But if I know that it's going to be a lower week, or if I'm not training for a race or anything, then I might go for a higher TSS score, just so that I get a really good cross-training workout. So this has been amazing. You can click on right here. This will actually bring you right up to the ride in Peloton, so then you can add it to your stack. And I don't believe you can click on it. No, you can't click on it to get details, but you can kind of see overview of what the class is going to look like. So like for the most part, these endurance ones, these are going to all be within zones 2 and 3. The only things that might change, especially like this Dennis one here, is that Dennis usually does like to call out goal cadences, I've noticed. So for him, he usually goes based on the song, and then he'll say, okay, your goal cadence is going to be try to maintain in the 90s, try to maintain in the 80s. So it makes it a little bit trickier than like a Matt Wilper's ride, where he usually just tells you, okay, hit zone 2, hit zone 3, no matter what your cadence is, just get to whatever your goal output is supposed to be. So over here we can see there are metrics here, and I'll be honest, I'm not really into super techy cycling metrics, but I do love this FTP chart. I think it's really nicely laid out. So you can see after I was at a 147 output for my FTP test, and then I had a baby and whatnot, so I'm still working my way back up because my FTP did drop down to 124. So you can kind of keep your progress here and see how you improve with all your FTP tests. And then I really like this power to weight metric. So this takes your average FTP test and then it divides it by your weight to get a better goal for your personal development as well. So when you're comparing outputs, to me, I don't find it really fair, because if a guy or something that's a little bit heavier than me is doing a ride with me, more than likely their output's going to be a little bit heavier or a little bit higher than mine would be. So I think that this power to weight ratio is a little bit more comparable if you do want to compare. These journeys, I haven't really played around with this one, but you can set different start areas and places. So like if you want to race somewhere like New York to California, you could enter this in and then enter in whatever date your goal is. And then this will kind of track you on your virtual journey, which is kind of fun. Challenges. So this is something that you also have access to as a free member. So in here is where all of the challenges will show up if you're on a team. So right now the winter challenge is still, I think it's still going on, or maybe it's in the mini challenge right now. And then the spring challenge will come up. So this is where you would see, for example, on Monday you have to ride this one, Wednesday do this one, Saturday, and then the accelerators. So I love how nice and neat it is. And when you do complete it, you can check it, and then it'll hide it. So you can see the completed rides if you click on here, and then if you, expand it, and then you can hide it as well. So if you don't want to see it, and you can uncheck it too. And you can click right on here to bring it up on Peloton's site so that you can easily stack it too. So the biggest thing for me is the membership is really worth it for me for this library feature, as well as seeing my charts, as well as the metrics and just keeping track of my FTP score. So membership to it, I believe, is either $6.99 or $7.99 a month. There's no contract with it, so it's kind of nice. You can just pick it up when you need it, and you can drop it whenever you don't need it. But it's been amazing. It's been an amazing tool for me to be able to go in here, and especially I love this TSS filter. So I can always find a ride that I know will fit my training really well. And I find that TSS is a lot more accurate than if I were to go onto a ride and just see what other members rated it. I feel like almost every ride I've seen is either 95 to 100, and same difficulty is usually between the 7 and 8. So I feel like this is a more strategic way to figure out what type of ride to do every day. So let me switch over here. So I hope that this has been helpful. I love Power Zone training. Like I said, this is one of my favorite ways to train, and I love the metrics that Power Zone Pack gives me. So I hope that this little walkthrough has been helpful, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there's anything else you would see too, and I can always pull it back up and show you guys some more.